It's not a date when I want to burn time on this. This is live streaming now.
It says we're live streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
because it wouldn't let me start. You must, once you started, it didn't. So I don't think we can have multiple streams.
I would imagine not, but anyhow. Well, so here we are, and well, I guess we missed that. Matt, do you just want to quickly give your update again on what you were working on?
Two things to update. I've successfully created a component in Ember to show the Jitsi window, and now I'm going to create another component to add and show participants as they come and go, just to prove that we can interact with the Jitsi component. Then the second thing is Event Manager. There's a PR waiting for Sam's review to upgrade to Rails 5.1. That way, when Zizo goes to do his migration, he shouldn't have any problems. It just seemed a lot easier that way. And
okay,
on board with that.
All right.
That's my two updates, I guess.
Okay.
I'm the Scrum Master still, so Sam is next, I guess.
Thanks. Yeah. So as I was saying before, well, deployed the manual YouTube update to, gosh, what is it? To website 1, where we can see it sort of works, although we've been obviously having this trouble for some reason taking the stream live in Jitsi. It's the first time we've really had any trouble with that at all in 2 weeks of use, but somewhat worrying. I've made a greeting bot that's greeting folks coming into local support that could be made available onto other channels. I guess my big thing is I should really try and make progress with getting the autograders onto Azure. I do have them there. I now would need to connect them up to edX. Yeah, but yeah, I'm working through, checking in with all the premium members. Lots and lots to do. Nothing but what I was about to say before. I'd love to have a pause button that I could just pause time and continue working on the autograders and get it fixed, and then restart, and it would still just be just before lunch. But that we don't have that universal pause button yet. So yeah, yeah. So what have we got coming up? We've got the React Mob coming up. We've got the website 1 planning meeting, autograders client meeting, which I sent some emails about. Yeah, that's my update.
Okay, sorry, I spaced out. Let's see. I think somebody joined, but are we? Lokesh is Lokesh here still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Your icon changed. All right. Anyways, you're next. Give your update.
Yeah. So I've been working on replacing Start Hangout button, and I replaced the button in the project page, but having some difficulty on understanding how this button is rendered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to understand the logic here. That
okay.
When this button appears, so far I haven't been able to understand. And I think it will take some time. I have to read some more code.
Well, and let me tell you, I don't know that you need to understand the logic per se, because it's well, maybe you want to for your own benefit, but I mean, what's happening there, right? You've got that. What's that file open that you've got on the right there? I can't see the file name. What's the file
it's Hangout button.
Right.
Hangout button.
Yeah. So that's the div ID that the thing goes into. What we've got is we've got some JavaScript, right? That's it's a Google Hangout button JavaScript, which basically, if you can sort of see there, it's got like the button itself is being rendered as that div, and then with this bunch of data. But then the Google Hangout button thing will basically replace that div, or put a little, like, it's even in a miniature iframe or something. It like basically takes control of that div and sticks a load of stuff in it. Now I guess you don't have to understand exactly how that works, because a lot of that has become kind of redundant if we're just going to have a button that starts a Jitsi meet, right?
Yeah, but I'm not able to understand when this button appears. Where's the logic which makes this button appears?
Right.
Like it doesn't appear all the time.
Oh, okay. Right. But so where's the logic that determines whether it's going to appear or not?
Yeah.
Right. That's a good question. Yeah. So we have logic that basically we kind of, I mean, and that there's also logic that may now be redundant. I mean, well, we basically had a problem in the past that people would just like if the start hang up button was there all the time, we'd have an event for like 5 p.m. and someone would click the button at 1 p.m. and it would ping the channel, and it would be like they were just sort of like playing around and experimenting with the interface, and it wasn't actually the start of the event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at it locally. So what you're looking at that button. This is because events. We've got the show page of the event. I guess maybe this is something to look at the end. Okay, so that's one thing that's blocking you there.
Yeah.
Anything else that's blocking you? Or maybe we can move. Check that we finish the Scrum before diving into this issue.
No. No, this is the only thing.
This is the one thing that's blocking you. Okay, so maybe let's look at that at the end. I was going to say, Matt, should we move on to Pawan? But
yeah, it looks like he's gone.
He's dropped out. Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of our Scrum. Is it, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah. Does anybody forget anything? I think I'm all set.
Yeah. Then I guess. Oh, the Pawan's back. But
hi, Pavan. Can you hear me? Hello.
It's kind of late, I guess, and Pawan's been observing. I guess we'll leave Pawan, and also I think, yeah, maybe he can text chat us if there's particular things. I was just going to say, like, can you see my screen, Lokesh? Lokesh?
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
No.
You can't see my screen?
Oh, no.
No?
I can see it.
Lokesh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
And you can't see my screen?
No, I cannot.
Okay. I'll try restarting it one time. Hold on. How about now?
No.
I see it clearer, but
okay.
Wait, let me just reload the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lokesh, how about now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so you see the file that I'm in?
Yeah.
We're in events show.html.erb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see here line 37.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the logic that determines whether that Hangout button appears or not.
Okay.
So what this is doing is it's checking, are we live? Right? Because if we're live, we don't want to display the button to have someone restart it. This is with Hangouts, right? Where clicking on the button would generate a completely new Hangout. Right? And then we also ask the question, is it, less than 10 till start? Yeah. So we set it up so that the, start a Hangout button is not going to appear unless it's unless it's less than 10 minutes before the start time of the event. Does that make sense?
No. Why is it checking the event is live? Because if it is live, then how can it be less than 10 from start?
Well, it's sort of, if it's saying not live, we're checking that the event is not live.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
And that, we're, it's not more than 10 minutes before the event of the start.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. So that's the logic. And that was important logic for the Hangouts. If we are switching to Jitsi, actually the logic changes because we don't really have a start Hangout. There's only ever, like the Jitsi is always there, right? It's got a permanent URL. It's always there. So it's just kind of like, rather than start Hangout, it's just like kind of join room, isn't it? It's like join Jitsi. It's not start a Jitsi. I mean,
Yeah.
It's an interesting one of do we want to, what do we want the user flow to be like? Do we want, for an arbitrary event, I mean, do we want to give the user the choice to say what the URL of the Jitsi is going to look like, or should we generate that dynamically off the name of the event, so that there's always a unique mapping between the event and the actual Jitsi? But so, like, in principle, this whole thing, like this logic, we could say, is now completely redundant. And in your pull request to add a join Jitsi here, we could like completely remove this if statement, and just have a button like the the one that you've done for the other page, the projects page.
Yeah, but with this thing we cannot, ping the Slack.
No, right, but this one doesn't ping the Slack either, right? Because the Google Hangout API is gone, so we don't lose anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but even if in the future, if we like to stream the video automatically,
right,
then it will be a problem.
Right. Well, we'll have to do something different, right? But the problem we've got at the moment, as one of the users just encountered, I think Parveen was talking to me. At the moment, we've got a thing saying start a Hangout on Air button, right? It doesn't work for some people, and it's kind of, I mean, arguably, what I would say is what we want at the moment. What I would be tempted to do here is, rather than replacing the Google Hangout on Air button, because it's the button still has some utility. If I want to use a Google Hangout on Air, as I might want to do in the React mob, because we're having problems with video streaming in Jitsi, right? Then having this button present seems reasonable. What I would be tempted to do here is add another button, which is a Jitsi, so that we've got an option between the two buttons. Do you know what I mean?
Should I? No, could you repeat?
So, yeah, what I'm saying is, if I go and we find like an Agile Ventures page, and we've got, while I'm navigating there, I'll just say as well, for this thing, you've kind of changed it in the project page, but I would say, like, again, at the kind of making things simple, we must, I would strongly advise against changing it in the project page. I think that this ticket should be very focused on just doing stuff here, right, in the events page, so that the pull request can be just about the events page, and we can work out what makes sense for the event page independently of what makes sense for the project pages. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But so what I'm saying here is, like, instead of replacing the Hangout button, the Hangout button appears here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is we should have, for the time being, two buttons. One button that's like start a Hangout on Air, right? Because we might still want to do that sometimes because we're in an intermediate situation. And we want to have another button, which is here, which is like use Jitsi. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and the second button should appear all the time.
Well, it could do, or I think even simply that it I would be tempted just to throw it in here, so that it's kind of like what we don't particularly want. Like say that there's a Martin Fowler Scrum and it's 3 in the morning, like none of us are there. By having the button that says join this room, we kind of encourage people to join that room when the event's not on. And so I sort of think, by not having the button there, that's kind of prompting the person to realize, oh, I can't go in there now. I need to wait till this time, right?
Okay.
That's sort of how I mean, the difficult thing is there's arguments the other way, because you could say like, oh, people should be they should be able to test their camera in the room on other occasions, and who knows. But yeah, I, I would be tempted to like just throw in, a Jitsi button here. that has the same characteristics in terms of when it's available, right? And that's kind of like a simple first step. And it's not the critical, that's not the final thing, right? It's not like that we're going to do that and that's how it's going to be forever. We're just going to add that to make it easier for people in the first instance to have a link to the Jitsi thing and know that it's an option alternatively to the Hangout.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that's sort of unblocked you. I think the interesting thing that we have arising from seeing the problems we had with the YouTube stream here is I think it's pushing me towards saying, you know, that ability to manually edit the events and so on is really important. Like, you know, we can't. This is the danger. If we always sort of rely upon, you know, we want to get to completely automated systems, but automated systems fail, and so we need the manual edit backup. Okay, so good show.
Yeah, Sam.
Oh,
can
go on,
I say
Lokesh,
something?
please.
I was just reading about streams, and it seems that you cannot stop. You cannot restart an event once it has stopped.
You're talking about YouTube streams.
So maybe, yeah. So maybe that was the problem.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if maybe Matt did start it originally, and it then failed for some reason. Because you thought it was live streaming, right? For a moment.
For a moment, but then because it said I could start it again.
Well, I think if it was actually streaming and you click the stop live streaming, it doesn't say start it again. It says, are you sure you would like to stop the streaming? So if you clicked it again and I think it either never started, or it started and then it failed.
Yeah.
Right. And if it may be the fact that this is what Lokesh is saying, I think, is that if it did fail, but nobody's fault, it just happened. You know, sometimes these things happen. That we then couldn't restart it from the same thing. That sort of makes sense, Lokesh. But then why couldn't I stream to my personal account from the Martin Fowler Scrum room? I mean, and I guess I was under the impression that we could, we can start the stream and then restart it to a new YouTube video. But I guess we're still learning about Jitsi, so we should maybe stop speculating and keep experimenting. Okay. Yeah. It looked like we had some new people join. Oh, Ashish has joined us. Hi, Ashish. Can you hear us okay? It's great that you've got your video off. I guess I'll turn my video off as well. Ashish, can you hear me? I guess Ashish wasn't able to hear me. Oh, well. Yeah. Okay.
I'll just mention one thing, Sam.
Go on, Matt.
Oh, Paveen. I've been talking to Paveen, and he's going to attend the art spec next Tuesday. So
fantastic. That's wonderful.
Worry about that. He's all set. I'm gonna email and to add him to C9 and everything temporarily. And
all right, excellent. Okay, well, I think that's us. We're done with Scrum. We've got post Scrum. We ultimately were able to stream lots of things to work about and so on. Great to have you observing again. Oh, we've got Praveen. Oh, that's Praveen is actually in the Scrum with us. Hey, Praveen, great to have you with us.
Yeah, I've just been talking to him. That's great.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah, I better get going and get ready for the React Mob. I'll catch you all later. Bye for now.
Okay, you can go, Sam. Maybe Praveen, can you hang out and make sure your video is okay for next Tuesday?
I'll turn off the live stream then, guys, and catch you in a bit.
Yeah, and I just